Hello, so I just had an idea and let's give it a try. So we're going to start with a number of elements, let's say something like 16, and we're going to have a loop where we create radio buttons. So type radio, name option, let's build up the ID as option, and here we interpolate the index. Then we're going to have label for, and it's going to be the same value as this ID. Okay, now one more thing I want to do here is checked, and this depends on the value of n, the current index. So it's going to be null or true. Okay, and here within the label, I'm going to have an image. So and let's see about the source, and we're going to copy this, and here we're going to create a base. So let's take this whole actual image part. So here we interpolate the base. We put the actual image, and here we interpolate the index. Come on. Okay. So yeah, for now, let's start giving some dimensions to this. So image max okay, so these are going to be the image dimensions. Now we're going to want to do something in terms of positioning, and for that we're going to set some custom properties here. So style, and this is going to be a multiplier along the x-axis. This is going to be, I'm going to need to interpolate this. So a random number between 0 and 1, and I'm going to want to limit the number of decimals. So this is what I'll be doing. Now I'm just going to copy this, and here I'm going to have another multiplier. This one is going to be along the y-axis. So now let's move here a bit. So we're going to have something like input label position absolute. Now for the label, we're going to have transform translate, and this is going to be 2 calc values. So oops, not gonna have calc there. Now I'm going to use that I value, and it's going to be times 100 minus, and here I'm going to set a dimension. Okay, now one more thing I want to set here, style root. Now I want to set an n value, and here I'm going to need to interpolate again the initial value of n. Actually, not, this is a square root. So and I want it to be rounded. Okay. So now here for these dimensions, I'm going to have a calc 50 viewport width units, 50 viewport height ones, and everything divided by that n value. So this should do it here, and here I'm going to interpolate half that dimension. Okay, so this should do it along one axis, then along the other axis. So this is going to be j, and viewport height, and something else. I'm obviously going to do HTML overflow hidden, and also body margin 0. Okay, and something else, input. So here I'm going to have left, just take it off screen. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to have a switch here. So this is going to be a switch custom property, which is 0 initially, and when the input is checked, the corresponding label switches that value from 0 to 1. And now I can collapse this. Okay, here I'm going to compute a complementary, and this is going to be calc 1 minus that switch. Okay, so what I'm going to have here is actually the complementary. Okay, and at the end I'm going to have the switch times and this is height. Okay, so this is pretty much the thing for the position. That's my position right there. Actually, I can do something like a range or something. So I'm going to have a range here, so I just don't repeat the same thing. So yeah, here I'm just going to use that range. Okay, so no, it's not going to work because it has to be along that particular dimension. So no, I need to revert that. So yeah, it's just going to stay like that. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is I also want to have the same for before. And what I'm going to do with the before element, it's going to be top 0, right 0, bottom 0, left 0, content nothing, background black. Okay, and what I'm going to do is mix blend mode, luminosity. Okay, one more thing I want to do here is line height 0. Okay. So this is not going to be exactly like this. So I'm going to have pages. Is it even worth bothering? RGBA 0, 0, 0. And here I'm going to have this in terms of opacity. So the checked one is always going to do something like that. And I'm going to bring that in the middle. And also I'm going to have something like Z index is something like this. So the checked one is always going to be on top. So here I'm going to have transition half a second. So it's basically moving those. And here I'm going to have transition. Actually, I can just do a regular background and then I can do opacity. I think I'm going to do it like that. So like this. Transition half a second. Actually, I'm going to have inherit, and here transition property is going to be so now something else I want to do here is for both the image and the before, I'm going to want to have something like a clip path. Something else I want to do. So our transition property, transform Z index. So here I'm going to want to have a clip path and this is going to be polygon. Now I'm going to have a lot of calc values. Let's start with the beginning. So first of all, I'm going to have something like this. And then I'm going to have something exactly the same for the Y. Now I'm going to take this pair and I'm just going to paste it a few times. So this is not going to be with minus here, it's going to be with plus. These are both going to be with plus, and this also here is going to be with plus. So this should give me some irregular stuff. And the thing is, I'm just going to move these on another new line as well. So let's add a bit more spacing here so that things are a bit more obvious. Okay, so all these values, they're only going to work when the switch is 0. So I'm going to multiply them with the complementary of the switch. So that's going to be okay. Now for a better clip path, I'm going to need to have something like this. And 0%, and I'm not going to have everywhere 0%. This is going to be 100%, and this is going to be 100% as well. So this should do it. Okay, now one more thing I'm going to want to do, not have squares when they're clipped. So the way I'm going to be doing that is I'm going to be adding more custom properties here. So just add another one here, and this is going to be coefficient, and this is actually going to be 1 minus, and this is going to be a factor, and this factor, let's see, it's going to be something like 0.2. Okay, but I don't want this value between 0 and 1. I want it between minus 0.5 and 0.5. So that's going to be random minus 0.5. Like this. And now I'm going to take another one and paste it here, and this is going to be my y. Now I'm going to take them both, paste, paste, paste. Now here I'm going to have 1, 2, and 3. And now that I've done this, I can use those values right here. So I'm going to multiply stuff, and this is going to be y, going to have 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. So that should give me some more irregular looking images. Let's see about that. Okay. Now I don't know why, but I have the feeling I should take this minus 50%. I should take it out. What's the deal with all of this? Okay, so yeah, this is switching stuff. Okay, now I'm going to set transition inherit here. Transition inherit. Okay, and also just on the image, going to have transition property clip path, opacity, and clip path here. So okay, this is looking pretty good here. Now, something else I want to do here is filter on drop shadow, something like that. Now the very good question is, why the heck am I doing this? Okay, that looks good. Okay, so one thing I want to do, transition timing function, and it's going to be ease out. So yeah, this is looking a lot better, and it's pretty much what I wanted to show you. Yeah, this is it. Of course, it can be prettified and made a lot nicer, but for now, just leave it at this. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have and you want me to be able to do more stuff in the future, please consider supporting my work in one of the ways explained in the description below, with a donation, by getting me something off my Amazon wishlist, or at least by sharing this to show the world what can be done on the web these days, because I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching.